Marcus Aurelius stands as a preeminent figure among Stoic thinkers, renowned throughout history. He ascended to the role of Roman emperor from 161 to 180 after Christ, marking the end of a lineage commonly referred to as the Five Good Emperors. Possessing one of the most influential positions globally at that time, Marcus Aurelius had every opportunity to indulge in any whim or desire. Yet, he chose to devote his existence to the principles of equity and righteousness. Throughout his tenure, Marcus Aurelius took the time to pen a collection of personal reflections, today celebrated as the Meditations. This work has secured its place as a seminal piece in the realm of Stoic thought. Within its pages, Marcus Aurelius provides insights on self-betterment, primarily advocating for a universal viewpoint and a rigorous self-examination of one's judgments about oneself and others. Amidst governing an empire fraught with numerous conflicts, Aurelius applied the tenets of his Stoic beliefs to relinquish anxieties and commit to being an exemplary and steadfast sovereign. Stoicism is not only a well-regarded and ancient philosophy, but also a deeply motivational mindset and lifestyle. Adherents of Stoicism were convinced that moral rectitude was the cornerstone of personal contentment, and that achieving this required discernment and coherent logical reasoning. Bearing this in mind in this presentation, we will delve into how you can cultivate a logical mind through 5 pivotal lessons derived from Marcus Aurelius's teachings, aimed at enhancing your clarity of thought. Before we proceed, please verify your channel subscription. Your subscription is crucial. Click to become a member and bolster our efforts, motivating us to create additional content. Let's begin. Lesson 1. Cultivate your perspective. Marcus Aurelius advised, "Decide you are unharmed and you won't feel harm. Don't feel harmed and you haven't been." A paramount teaching of Stoicism is mastering your own perception. Habitually, we assign a label to everything we encounter, every occurrence, every individual we meet, every achievement we observe. These labels range from bad to good, dull to exciting, or beautiful to unsightly. Unwittingly, this habit can be draining and potentially detrimental. For instance, deeming every encounter on a challenging day as terrible can taint your entire perception of that day. If you decide a social gathering was uninteresting, then it's confined to being just that, a dull segment of your week. Our first impressions are often swayed by emotions, leading to judgments that aren't entirely based on reason. Moreover, our propensity to assess every aspect of our lives often coincides with our use of metaphors and exaggerations, which can amplify negativity. For example, saying your partner broke your heart, rather than simply acknowledging they no longer feel the same, frames your thinking and, consequently, your emotions. It's not the actual event that distresses you, but the way you subconsciously interpret it. Stoics advocate for a cautious approach to assessing life's experiences. They suggest dismantling these initial judgments to see beyond them, abandoning your first reaction to assess situations through a more optimistic and logical lens. You might, for example, reconsider the boring gathering as a chance where you explored a new venue and encountered different people. Sure, you may not have connected deeply with anyone, but you didn't approach it with a predisposition for negativity. This practice of suspending snap judgments and emotional reactions is the essence of honing your perception of life. When you catch yourself forming an opinion, pause to consider, is this a rational view? What's it based on? Is there a more constructive interpretation? Marcus Aurelius emphasized that only when you perceive experiences as harmful do they truly become so. In essence, the intensity of any difficult experience is proportional to how negatively you perceive it. You hold the reins on the impact of various circumstances. Stoics also prompt you to view every challenge as a potential source of benefit. To exercise this Stoic perspective, engage in the challenge known as inverting the obstacle. Consider a scenario where a new colleague's learning curve negatively impacts the company's efficiency. While they may seem like a hurdle to achieving productivity and profitability, this can also be seen as an opportunity. It's a chance to cultivate patience, improve your mentoring skills, learn to integrate newcomers effectively, and manage stress. These competencies will serve you well in the future and ultimately contribute to long-term success. In Aurelius's words, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." In summary, rather than over-exaggerating every aspect of life, take a moment to perceive things as they truly are. You might discover life is less complicated and more transparent than you believed. Each situation harbors both a positive and a negative viewpoint. By adjusting your mindset, you'll find that fewer things perturb you, and navigating life becomes significantly smoother. Lesson 2. Master your emotions. Marcus Aurelius counsels, "Cease allowing your feelings to overpower your intellect. Refrain from being deceitful, self-absorbed, and easily annoyed." Often there's a stark distinction drawn between emotional reactions and logical responses, and rightfully so. Nothing obscures our discernment quite like our own emotions. Thus, if your aim is to maintain clarity of thought consistently, developing the skill to manage your emotions is crucial. Aurelius particularly points out that the sentiment of rage is more damaging than beneficial. Contrary to common belief, managing your emotions doesn't equate to suppressing them. When you encounter intense rage due to a betrayal, denying its existence or feigning indifference doesn't truly mitigate it. According to Stoic philosophy, the effective way to handle emotions such as anger is through transmutation. When next you find yourself engulfed in rage, ponder over what constructive actions that anger can spur. Shouting at the offender might be the instinctual reaction, but consider whether it alleviates your pain or improves the situation. Does it encourage the offender to amend their ways? Reflect on the actions you're inclined to take and evaluate their utility. If they're unproductive, seek alternative outlets for your emotions that are constructive. Perhaps a composed dialogue with the person who wronged you. Articulating your feelings and attempting to understand their perspective might be more beneficial. Alternatively, channeling your emotions into activities like journaling, engaging in physical exercise, or immersing yourself in a video game might help in diffusing the anger. Consider another emotion, anxiety or fear. Suppressing it is futile, but it's possible to redirect it. Rather than allowing anxiety to immobilize you, harness it to propel yourself towards confronting your fears and acknowledge its presence throughout the process. For instance, if the thought of requesting a raise from your boss is daunting, many might see this fear as a deterrent. Others might proceed by suppressing their anxiety, viewing it as an obstacle. However, a more productive approach is to embrace and utilize this fear. The apprehension can prompt you to meticulously prepare for potential questions and objections, thus equipping you with a robust plan. Most importantly, this fear can be a positive motivator, encouraging you to challenge yourself, to grow, and to take steps not in spite of your fear, but partly because of it. In this mindset, you can acknowledge your anxiety while thinking, "It's commendable that I'm attempting this regardless." When you become adept at redirecting intense emotions, you maintain your composure in all situations. Your emotions won't impede your capacity for rational thought or sound decision-making. Mastering your emotions is the gateway to a more tranquil mind. Lesson 3. Practice the dichotomy of control. Echoing Marcus Aurelius, your dominion lies over your mind, not external happenings. Grasp this, and you'll discover fortitude. The dichotomy of control involves differentiating between what is within our grasp and what falls beyond it. Factors like the climate, traffic, or others' opinions are beyond our influence. In contrast, your choice of attire, departure time, and the company you keep are within your sphere of control. Confronted with any situation, question yourself, what's within my power? Your sphere of influence warrants action, while elements beyond your control call for acceptance and non-attachment, ensuring your peace of mind. A critical aspect of this concept is amor fati, or the love of fate. Accepting life in its entirety, with all its twists and turns, cultivates a perpetual love for existence. Fate and the circumstances it brings are inescapable. Rejecting them is futile. Take, for instance, being turned down for a coveted job. It's easy to see no silver lining here. You aspired, endeavored, and failed. Embracing fate in such a situation might seem impossible. However, this perspective is flawed. Rather than perceiving the unmet goal solely as a setback, scrutinize the factors leading to this outcome and harness them constructively. If the reason for the rejection is something within your control, like a skill gap, then it's an opportunity for improvement and preparation for future chances. If, however, the cause is external, such as favoritism or personality conflicts, recognize that this was always beyond your control, and lamenting over a non-existent opportunity is unproductive. Part of accepting fate involves detaching from rigid expectations and external success indicators. For instance, if you aspire to be an author and hinge your success on book sales, you're subjecting your achievement to the whims of the market. Conversely, if you define success by your satisfaction with your work or the effort invested, you maintain control over your sense of accomplishment. Strive for your goals, but always be mindful that success is not guaranteed, and accept this possibility beforehand. By focusing solely on what's within our control and embracing everything else as it comes, we can remain tranquil regardless of circumstances. Lesson 4. Champion moral excellence. Quoting Marcus Aurelius, "Search your soul diligently, for a reservoir of righteousness awaits to overflow if you persist in your pursuit." A virtue is essentially a hallmark of character, or put simply, an adherence to moral integrity. Such conduct not only benefits oneself and one's immediate circle, but also contributes to the collective well-being. Stoicism posits a universe where all entities are interconnected, implying that what benefits the whole ultimately benefits the individual. Therefore, Stoics postulate that those who align most closely with logical reasoning are those who commit to the common welfare, essentially, those who practice virtues. Conversely, the Stoics attributed the lack of virtue to ignorance, believing that when thrust into unexpected situations, virtues act as your moral compass, guiding you correctly and ensuring stability. It's observed that individuals steeped in virtue often radiate a sense of peace and calm. To incorporate virtue into your life, immerse yourself in the 4 fundamental Stoic virtues: wisdom, justice, courage, and temperance. Stoicism views wisdom as the capacity to discern right from wrong, the neutral and everything in between, allowing logic to dictate moral decisions. Wisdom grants the clarity needed to navigate complex choices. Justice builds on wisdom, signifying a dedication to fairness for oneself and others. Stoics saw this as an obligation to the individual, community, and society. Courage, the 3rd virtue, is about action in the face of personal trepidation. It's about advancing the greater good or undertaking tasks despite not knowing the outcome. Courage isn't about the absence of fear or desire, but choosing to proceed despite them. Lastly, temperance or moderation is about steering a balanced course between extremes, practicing restraint, and prioritizing long-term welfare over immediate satisfaction. Marcus Aurelius emphasized our unique human capacity for self-control, setting us apart from other species. Temperance is about choosing the long-term benefits over short-lived pleasures. For instance, consider a simple scenario like a bag of chips. Consuming the entire bag might provide instant pleasure, but at the cost of health and well-being. Here, temperance is about halting after a few chips. Wisdom is crucial in determining the right quantity to indulge in before stopping. Stoicism categorizes actions into good, evil, and indifferent. Pursuing good, shunning evil, and approaching indifferent actions based on personal preference were central tenets. Deviating from these virtues meant nurturing malevolence, theft, disrespect, or neglecting to do good. Neutral actions, like a leisurely walk, were neither good nor bad. These tenets extend beyond self-improvement. They foster a state of tranquil assurance. By aligning your actions with these virtues, you ensure you consistently walk the path of moral righteousness, guided by reason, thereby nurturing a peaceful and composed state of mind. Lesson 5. Adopt a comprehensive outlook. Reflecting on Marcus Aurelius's wisdom, which resonates with Plato's, to discuss people, it's wisest to adopt an aerial perspective, observing the entirety at once. Embracing a broad viewpoint is crucial for mental lucidity. In life's flurry, we often get mired in the thick of issues, each seeming monumental. Picture being in a dense crowd. It might feel as though the whole city is engulfed in chaos, but a slight shift in perspective can unveil a different reality. Essentially, when we step back and consider the vast mosaic of our existence, we recognize the insignificance of our individual experiences in the grand cosmic scheme. This broader view reveals the extensive world beyond our immediate experiences. It's common for individuals to forget that their perspectives and experiences aren't the only valid ones, even within their own lives. Take, for instance, someone with a negative history with dogs. They might struggle to understand how dogs can be beloved pets unless they consciously acknowledge the potential for varied experiences. Periodically, it's crucial to step back and question, what am I overlooking? What don't I understand? This reflective practice is laden with advantages. Imagine facing the choice of staying in your current job or moving to a new role. The decision might seem daunting, especially amidst uncertainty about fulfilling your ambitions. Your current job offers stability, but a new role promises a better salary and more responsibilities. You might feel trapped in this predicament. However, numerous untapped possibilities await your discovery. Have you thought about transitioning to a different industry or initiating a side project alongside your job? Maybe diving into a hobby to divert attention from less enjoyable tasks. It's likely that many potential paths in life are currently off your radar. Adopting an expansive view instead of focusing solely on immediate dilemmas greatly facilitates informed decision-making. Expanding your perspective is not just beneficial for setting priorities, but also for forming well-rounded opinions. To arrive at a well-informed judgment, it's essential to consider all aspects and possibilities of a situation. Furthermore, stepping back means detaching from personal biases and viewpoints. Temporarily setting aside your wishes can provide a fresh outlook, encouraging consideration of others and your duties toward them. In the moment's intensity, actions like littering might seem trivial. However, when you broaden your perspective to include the entire world and the cumulative impact if everyone behaved similarly, the triviality of your inclination becomes glaringly evident against the backdrop of global well-being. As mentioned earlier, Stoics staunchly believed in the interconnectedness of all things, asserting that the world's overall betterment inherently enhances individual welfare. Therefore, retreating to consider a universal viewpoint, rather than focusing solely on personal concerns, is profoundly significant. When faced with decisions, obstacles, or pivotal life changes, you're equipped to ask introspective questions, whether in the moment or during contemplative activities like walking or journaling, which Aurelius notably endorsed. Common inquiries include, what are the potential long-term consequences of my decision action? How might someone else view this differently? Do I know anyone in a similar situation or with akin objectives who could offer insight? Does my decision action impact my well-being or that of others? Are there options I haven't yet considered? Taking the time to contemplate the broader aspects of the world aids your understanding of your actions, life, and choices, and it enables you to contribute positively to the world. By considering the entire picture, you maintain an overarching perspective that liberates you from unnecessary constraints, biases, or uncertainties. If this video resonated with you, we invite you to explore our playlist for additional content aimed at guiding you toward fulfillment and joy through the teachings of time-honored philosophy. Remember to hit the subscribe button and, if possible, consider becoming a member of our channel. We're deeply grateful for your viewership. Embrace Stoicism. I wish you a good life.